What does crucify your culture mean? Shed any preconceived notions that you have. What is it that you're actually... What do you actually think? Because a lot of your beliefs are assigned to you. Welcome back to another Deep Dive with Derek. I'm your host, Derek, and I'm here with another Ren reaction. Now, if you're new here, I'd like to personally welcome you to the channel. On this channel, we take a look at videos, music, and poetry and other forms of art through the lens of meaning and valued living. So, meaningful living is a set of tools that we use to design and live a life that we'd find meaningful. So, we're using lenses like mindfulness, like resilience, personal values, purpose, narratives, mindsets, basically everything that we can use to appreciate the upside of life and to learn from and get through the dark side of life. So if this is something that you like, consider subscribing. If you've been here before, welcome back. Certainly glad you could make it. Give this a like if this is something that you're interested in seeing. That's a signal to me that this is the kind of thing that is worth doing. I also don't like to monetize this channel, so I think that the attention and the ad model feeds everything that's wrong with the world, including consumerism and divisiveness, echo chambers. So don't play with your attention, and I'm not going to force you to pay with your attention. If you do want to support the channel, though, you can check out Patreon. You can buy me a beer. You can see all those links up here or in the comments. So you don't have to, of course. Now, last bit of housekeeping. I go through these videos twice. The first one is just a raw reaction, as if you said, Derek, check out this video, and you sat me down in your living room and I watched it. And then we go through a second time with some commentary to see what we can learn about meaning and valued living. If you want to skip to that part, I'll put that time indicator down here. If you only want to see the first part and don't want to stick around for the second part, that's okay too. So without further ado, we're going to get into Crucify Your Culture by Ren. So here we go.
A murderer's mind, born into a murderous time, where right or wrong is a blurred line, hard to define. For greed is poison the well, we all drink from the chalice. It's a long way down into the rabbit hole, Alice. Now I crucify your culture, burn down the old-up religion of consumerism. Picks us up like vultures, takes us for punks. They say jump, we jump. It's the same if it's Bush or Obama or Trump. I'm not buying into a 1, 2, 3 party system. I rise against them illusions of choice. Take our voice, or take back your rigged election system. Deficit, represent nobody but your money. Funny how you keep them sweet, honey. Shepherd and the sheep, on me. Someday they'll find a way to sell my views, like they sold the concept of freedom to you. They sold the voice of Huxley, of Orwell, Guevara, Dalai Lama. Now they're all just a product to you. And now you care more about your new shoes, the loose screws and minds of politicians that abuse truths to shape you, break you. Consumerism breaks you until your thoughts that hang you. They make you wanna hate you, so you keep buying. Corporation buying, defying fraudulent liars and burning empires. Tap into the telephone wires and history's biased. It glorifies and justifies our evil. It justifies the wars that rain destruction upon people. Every single human born equal. They treat you like an asset, not a human, man. It's see-through. Slavery through debt. You think that mortgage is to help you? Bills stacking high, killing dreams. Money maims you, lying tames you. The land of the free, irony. A hierarchy, folks, education kills the fire in me. Still I stand strong like two towers that were knocked down by greedy men's thirst for power and now greed. Greed plants a seed that will destroy us all if we succumb to greed. Fuck greed, silent I breathe, burn money. Greed makes us bleed, makes us bleed, makes us bleed. Our political system is a farce. Democracy will not exist till actions speak louder than money. Wealth is a poison honey, another money making holiday for the Easter bunny. Adverts suck out your soul, drink Coca-Cola, lining up the pockets of the fat controller, selling fear to the people, let it spread like a bowl. A propaganda machine, America dream, it's hopeless. Nikola Tesla, 1883. The DC current system fought against the AC, but not because the AC system wasn't any better, because people don't like change when money's at the center. Move, let me enter from the epicenter. Poison parliamenter, who's the main contender? Oh, it's you, Mr. President. Evident that the counterintelligence is a hell of a prevalent.
Okay, that's solid. I loved the guitar, the electric guitar. Had a rap rock vibe to it, almost like who is that? Rage Against the Machine. kind of similar messages. Rage Against the Machine too. I like the Money Game guy, the person with the mask on. Pretty solid. So, yeah, that was good. It was good because it was catchy. It had this beat that you could rock out to, and it also it had a message. It had kind of a economic, political message, anti-consumerism, which is kind of funny because I was just harping on consumerism at the beginning of this. So I am anti-consumerism. I'm anti-money game. You don't have to play the money game. If you want to play the money game, I have no problem with that. Yeah, he's harping on freedom in this song, it seems. We'll go through a second time and see. But I am a freedom proponent. So let's go back again and see if there's anything that we can learn. Let's get some commentary and let's check it out. It's just such a cool, it almost sounds like a bass. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Super solid. Okay, so Crucify Your Culture. Is that, so he said, let me pause, because I think he says it in the lyrics.
A murderer's mind, born into a murderous time, where right or wrong is a blurred line, hard to...
Right or wrong is a blurred line. It almost sounds like he's making the claim that that's a bad thing. But I'm going to make the claim that right and wrong is dichotomous thinking. That's a mental trap that we have. What is right and wrong? To whom is it right and wrong? There's no such thing as right and wrong except for the rules in which our culture creates it. So is it wrong to do anything? Who knows? It's a blurred line, which is the point. Be careful when you get into thinking that there's two things. With me, against me. Right, wrong. Black, white. Good, evil. Very few things in the world are dichotomous. Most things are a spectrum. So be careful when you think of things through, it's either this or that. You're right and I'm wrong. Right? There's just too much nuance that goes into that.
A murderer's mind, born into a murderous time, where right or wrong is a blurred line, hard to define, for greed has poisoned the well.
Greed has poisoned the well and we're all drinking it. That's true. I mean, power. We have evolved to want to increase our status in the hierarchy, in whatever hierarchy that we find ourselves in. These are the genes that you got. You know, if you go back to your grandparents, you don't have to go that many back. You know, you 50, 60 sets of grandparents. You've got people who were living in small communities, in tribes. And it was important to, one of our core needs is belonging, which is to belong to the group. That's why we are hardwired to want to belong. That's why sports fans are so tightly knit. That's why political groups, sadly, are so tightly knit, because we want to belong to a group. In addition to belonging, social relationships within that group. So within the group, we need to have interpersonal relationships. We need to know where we stand in the group. And the higher you are, the higher your status is, the more likely you're going to survive and be able to pass on your genes. If you were low tier, if you were low status in this group, you probably didn't reproduce. So your genes that get passed down were a result of looking for status. Now, status could be power. Status could be, we invented this thing called money, which is a proxy for power and other things. So the word greed is just a sticker that applies to that idea that we are thirsty for this idea of flourishing. We want to survive by increasing our status. Now that can be taught out. You can train yourself not to do that, but it's an uphill battle because you're hardwired.
You'll drink from the chalice. It's a long way down into the rabbit hole, Alice. Now I crucify your culture, burn down.
Yeah, there we go. I will crucify your culture. So culture is just kind of a set of rules. So you've got your own beliefs and rules that you create, And then if you get a part of a group, that group has its own rules. And that's kind of what a culture is. But by default, we're in this culture. We're born into a culture. Everybody is. No matter where you were born, there is a particular culture. And even within, it looks like the White House, so that would be the U.S. culture. But there's even Midwestern culture, and there's East Coast. There's New York culture. There's Boston culture. There's, San Francisco. There's Pacific Northwest culture, Texan culture. So that's even smaller, and you can even there's city cultures and things like that. There's Western culture and Eastern culture, so it can even be bigger than the United States. Crucify your culture, to me, stands for take a step back and kind of analyze or question some of the things that you take as default. Things that you take as just full truth because that's just how it is. Take a zoom out. I think that's what I take Crucify your culture as meaning.
Religion of consumerism picks us up like vultures.
Yeah, so in consumerism too, because people don't have a one-on-one relationship, if you had to pay, let's go back to the early days when the radio came about. If I had to pay for a radio program, somehow, I don't know, this is radio wave, so it would be hard to actually charge. If I had to pay you for this program, I might not listen to as much radio, or I'd be more careful about what I listen to. And then TV, same thing. If I had to pay for the 3 channels or whatever 4 channels that we used to get back in the day, I would have a relationship with the creator of this content. But we don't pay for that. We want it to be free. And so the people at the radio, they're not going to put together a program for nothing. It costs money to make it. Why else would I do this? So that needs to be funded, and that's funded by people who want to sell ads. That's why they used to say, brought to you by Derek Hagan. Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Thanks to our sponsors. Back to our sponsors. A word from our sponsors. All those things. The sponsor, that is the person who paid for the programming. Commercials in TV as well. We're at a place where we don't need to do that anymore, because you can have a one-on-one relationship with the content provider. So YouTube, you're watching this on YouTube. That's free. It's free because you're paying by watching ads. You're paying by watching sponsored content. You're paying by watching commercials. And even sometimes in the video, people are selling their own stuff to you. Right? So there's a commercial in there that you can't even skip. So being able to pay is having a one-on-one relationship with the person. That is going to stop consumerism. At least it's going to get closer to you identifying what you want out of life. Consumerism is, I think I know what I want because I'm looking around at the Joneses. Consumerism is the keeping up with the Joneses thing. And it's a look at Taylor Swift, look what she's wearing, and look at MTV Cribs, look what these people have. If you go back further, look at the lifestyles of the rich and famous, look at how all these people are living. You can do that too. But you got to pay for that. And then it becomes you'll only be happy as soon as. So much of my work is to peel back and say, is that true? So in this sense, Ren and I have a similar theme, which is strip away all of these stories that you tell yourself and see what's below that. What is underneath that? What do you actually want? There's a movement, the minimalism movement has gotten to this, which says there are people that want and will get a lot of utility from the big house and the European cars, but not many. Some people actually need a Porsche because they have a hobby of taking this to a track and like whipping around the track really fast. Most people just drive to work in it, and it's a status symbol. Why? Why do you want that status? Because it increases the perception that it increases my role in the social hierarchy. So anyway, long rant to say that consumerism is the roots of everything that's wrong with the world. And it happens even here on YouTube. If you ever have to skip an ad, if you have to watch an ad, you can't even skip the ad. You're paying for that content by watching those ads. The attention model, and it's worse now because in the radio and TV days, they used to have to just put a general commercial in front of you. Now we've got algorithms that know exactly what you're going to connect with, what you're likely to buy. So anyway, be careful of things that are free, because there's no such thing as free.
Crucify your culture, burn down the altar. Religion of consumerism picks us up like vultures, takes us for punks. They say jump, we jump. It's the same if it's Bush or Obama or Trump. I'm not.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter who it is. I fully believe that, because it's the same system. But what it does is it plays again onto that belonging thing. If it's Obama, it's this team. If it's Trump, or who was the other one, Bush, it's that team. If it's somebody else, it's this team. And then there's an in-group and an out-group. So you can create this in-group and out-group anger, but basically it's the same game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who. I've said this for years, and I'm happy to be proven wrong, but it does not matter who's in the White House or whatever in your country, what you have.
Takes us for punks. They say jump, we jump. It's the same if it's Bush or Obama or Trump. I'm not buying into a 1, 2, 3 party system. I rise against some illusions of choice. Take our voice or take back over the elections.
What did he say? Illusion of control? Illusion of choice?
Into a 1, 2, 3 party system. I rise against some illusions of choice. Take our voice or take back over the election system.
Is it choice? If you have two choices, again, I don't like two. I don't fall into either of these categories. There's nobody that really represents somebody like me, like a freedom first person, an autonomy first person. So it's always, what's the least of, it sucks, because I don't want this one or I don't want that one. And rigged election system, there was a lot of talk about rigging in the 2020 election here in the United States. But that's again, to me, that's no big deal, because I believe that every election is always rigged all the time. Maybe not on scale, but I don't think there's a such thing as a fair election anywhere. Now that, of course, that's you can tell me that I'm a conspiracy theory, or you can tell me whatever. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Not until we get something on the blockchain where we take a picture of ourselves and you can actually verify this stuff will I believe that these elections are actually what the people want.
Deficit represent nobody but your money. Funny how you keep them sweet, honey. Shepherds and the sheep. Someday they'll find a way to sell my views, like they sold the concept of freedom to you. They sold the voice of Huxley, of Orwell, Guevara, Dalai Lama. Now they're all just a product to you. And now you care more about your new shoes than loose screws and minds.
I missed that the first time. You care about your new shoes, but that goes back to the consumerism thing. I mean, I just learned recently that there's what is it called? Sneakerhead. There's people who buy sneakers and like have this obsession with sneakers. That's not just, the stereotype is women buy a lot of shoes, but there's dudes buying a lot of shoes, and they're just shitty sneakers, and they can't walk in them because they got to stay flat and whatever. And this is stupid.
Politicians that abuse you to shape you, break you. Consumerism breaks you until your thoughts are ain't you. They make you want to hate you. So
until your thoughts ain't you. And that's, again, back to the point, what does crucify your culture mean? Shed any preconceived notions that you have. What is it that you're actually, what do you actually think? Because a lot of your beliefs are assigned to you, either through your family system or your culture or the news that you watch. A lot of your beliefs, a lot of your values are assigned to you. So authenticity is stripping away some of these assumptions that you're making to see who you are underneath.
So you keep buying, corporation buying, defying fraudulent liars and burning empires, tapping to the telephone wires, and history's biased. It glorifies and justifies our evil. It justifies the wars that rain destruction upon people. Every single human born.
I don't know where he's going with that. Wars justify, or no, what it was? History justifies wars. Yeah, somebody have to explain that one to me, because I'm not as jaded as him, I guess. It's just an accounting of that war happened. Often it's glossed over, like we just talk about there was this civil war and there was this revolutionary war and so on. We don't get into, you won't get into battles, but what came out of that was because one person won or the other. Somebody won. And now there's a United States instead of Britain. Somebody won. And so there was no more North and South. It's just the United States, the Union. So I'm not exactly sure where his pessimism is about history's written to justify evil. If you have a line into that or know what he's talking about, please let me know.
They treat you like an asset, not a human, man. It's see-through. Slavery through debt. You think that mortgage is to help you? Bills stacking high, killing.
But okay, let's see.
Not a human, man. It's see-through. Slavery through debt. You think that mortgage is to.
You think that a mortgage is to help you?
Stacking high, killing dreams, money maimed you.
Bill stacking high. So this is freedoms. If you don't want to have a mortgage, don't have a mortgage. You could save also. You could save for 30 years and buy a house with cash. A mortgage is absolutely there to help you. You could not, nobody, very few people in the world can buy a house without a debt, without going into debt for it. A mortgage is just a loan. That's all that is. So a bank says, I will lend you $300, $200, $500, depending on where you live right now. I will lend you $300,000, $500,000, and then you pay me back over 30 years. Usually, that payment, principal and interest, is going to be about the same, maybe a little more, than a rent payment. So you got to pay anyways. So in this case, though, you lock in for 30 years at this rate. Of course, your property taxes are going to go up and stuff like that. A mortgage 100% helps you. So I gotta dig my heels in here. The consumerism will say, maybe I'm buying a house that's too much for me. Maybe I'm buying a house in a neighborhood I can't afford. Maybe I'm buying a house for status reasons. That's different, and I might still get a mortgage for that. Now I'm in up over my head. That's different. A mortgage itself says you don't have to wait for 30 years to buy a house. Nobody would be able to buy a house in that case. So mortgages help you, but when you take that and you mix in the greed of people, this comes back to the individual and their culture that they're in. If I think I need to have a big house to be happy, if I think I need to be on that cul-de-sac to be happy, if I think I need to have these many rooms and these many bathrooms to be happy, and I leverage is how much debt you have. I get too much debt to buy into this dream. Remember, that was your choice, though. Now, that choice was influenced by your culture, but it was still your choice. That's where I'm going to be in agreement with Ren, because we can be talked into buying too much. But at its core, if you know what you're doing and you know what kind of house you want and you know only what you need and you're buying just what you need and you pay it back over 30 years, mortgages are very, very helpful.
Lion tames you, the land of the free. Irony, a hierarchy, folks, education kills the fire in me.
I like that. Irony and fire in me. That's clever.
Still I stand strong like two towers that were knocked down by greedy men's thirst for power and now greed. Greed plants a seed that will destroy us all if we succumb to greed.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the same message at this point. The towers, attacks, any country you're going, it's probably driven by greed, power, money, all of the status things that we've talked about.
Greed, silent I breathe, burn money. Greed makes us bleed, makes us bleed, makes us bleed. Our political system is a farce. Democracy will not exist till actions speak louder than money. Wealth is a poison honey, another money-making holiday for the Easter bunny. Adverts suck out.
I hate commercialized holidays too. Easter, well, forget about the religious ones, the Christian ones. Valentine's Day, straight up, just a holiday just to make money. You could even say the same thing about 4th of July, in Independence Day in the United States. It's just an excuse to buy a bunch of food and go barbecuing. But few people remember that's when the United States declared independence from Britain a couple hundred years ago. But then you got even the Christian holidays. Like Christmas is commercialized, and now it's about buying things. People will love you if you buy them things. Easter is when the God's kid was killed, and then he was born again, or he raised from the dead. They call that Easter. But now it's about Easter bunnies and jelly beans and chocolate bunnies and everything like that. So yeah, I 100% agree. Holidays have become commercialized.
Your soul, I drink Coca-Cola, lining up the pockets of the fat controller, selling fear to the people, let it spread like a bowl of
Fear sells, straight up. And that's all the news is. Remember, the news When you turn on CNN, when you turn on Fox News, when you turn on MSNBC, when you turn on any news, MSNBC, CNBC, yeah, the finance one. When you turn on any news channel, it's free to you, right? It's free. Be careful of things that are free because they're funded by advertisers that want to get in front of you. And these advertisers want a return on their investment. So I'm paying a bunch of money to get this commercial in front of you. I need to see some benefit from that. So I'm going to make ads that scare you somehow into thinking that I have the thing. I have what you need. That I will ease your fear. Easy to sell. And when you watch, especially on financial news, oh no, the markets are tanking. Oh no, what's going to happen when the markets go to zero? Oh no, we're going to have another Great Depression. It's financial pornography and you should stop watching it 100%. So all of it is driven by ads unless you have a one-on-one relationship with the content creators, the news creators that you watch. Or if you have some kind of subscription, that's helpful too. Because again, you're just paying now. You see it. You're paying with cash instead of with attention. Because if you're paying with attention, your fear motivators can be manipulated very easily.
Lining up the pockets of the fat controller, selling fear to the people, let it spread like a bowl, a propaganda machine. Remember the dream, it's hopeless. Nikola Tesla, 1883. The DC current system fought against the AC, but not because the AC system wasn't any better, because people don't like change when money's at the center.
So people don't like change, period. You don't even have to add the money's at the center bit. People don't like change. When cars were becoming more popular, people fought against the horse and carriage, the horse and buggy. Electric cars, self-driving cars, it doesn't even need to be electric. Self-driving cars, they don't have to look anything like a car that we know, with a steering wheel and a cockpit and all these things. They don't have to look anything like that. But they do, because we can only take incremental change. So we can't handle a big change. So the direct current system fought against the alternating current system. I don't know about this. I don't know about this at all. Because I would have thought that the alternating current was better. But not because the AC... Okay, so yeah, so it was the DC system, the direct current system. Then the alternating current system comes in, and the old system is fighting against the new system, as will always happen when there's change. People fight against AI. People used to fight against computers and internet. People fought against, Amazon taking over, going to the bookstore. Nobody wants the change, period. Now, adding the money at the center, that helps him, land the plane on his point. But he could leave that off and it would still be the same message. People don't like change, period.
Move, let me enter from the epicenter. Poison parliamenter, who's the main contender? Oh, it's you, Mr. President. Evident that the counterintelligence is a hell of a prevalent.
Good stuff. So what brings you to this? Do you like the song? I imagine you do. I like the song. Again, it's got that hard rock, catchy beat to it, but with that kind of edgy electric guitar, and then the smooth rapping on top of that. So it just sounds good. And then it's got his message, anti-consumerism message that I am all about. So as a financial psychology expert, I can't hit home enough. Pay more attention to what you pay attention to. What is important to you? Do you know what's important to you? Once you know what that is, only spend your time on things that are important to you. Cut out things that are unimportant to you, and you'll be happier for the trouble. So let me know what you disagree with me on. Let me know what you agree with me on. Let me know what you like about this song and what else I should check out. And I'm going to continue down this Ren journey, and I look forward to it. Hey, D-Rock again. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing here. If this kind of thing is interesting to you, and especially if you like the bad drawings at the beginning, you might be interested in my weekly newsletter. It explores money's role in a meaningful life. So you can check that out at meaning.blog if you want. It takes this and it goes a lot deeper. So if you like that, check it out. Let me know what else I should be doing, what else I could be doing, and I'll see you here next time.